Reg, how are you today?
I am doing great, Theodore. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, I'm trying to understand the post-game press conference here with Oklahoma City with Russell Westbrook. Did you see the exchange?
I did, and I think it's worth noting there is some history between Barry Trammell and Russ that dates back a couple years. I don't know the exact extent of what it is, but I have seen clips of the two of them kind of going back and forth in post-game in post-game dialogue. Look, was the question fair? Absolutely, the question was fair. Could it have been delivered a little bit differently? Absolutely. But once again, once that happened, it was Russ basically shutting him down in front of his colleagues in a press conference. And, let's face it, kind of embarrassing him a little bit. And it was Barry coming back saying, my question wasn't answered.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate because Russ needs to understand at the end of the day, the power of the pen will always win. And no matter whatever beef you have, and I've had my beefs with certain columnists and writers, beat writers. You try to keep it professional because at the end of the day, they always win because they will always have the last say because they are really waiting for that one misstep from you, and it will always happen because Father Time catches up to all of us, and you just got to learn in your delivery to be a little bit more respectful. I get where he's coming from. I agree with you. Steven Adams probably could have handled that question, but I like the approach that Russ has taken. We're all in this together because a lot of times people love to kind of pile on Russ saying, and I was one of them, that, it's a one-man band. He's out there all alone, and he's not. It's a team game. It's always been a team game, and I kind of like him coming to the defense of his teammates.
But do you think, does he stay there because he's got full autonomy there? It's his show now. Now that's the question, does anybody want to play with him, or do you see him playing someplace else? Can the Clippers make a deal for him, or does he play for the Lakers? Can he do that after he criticized Kevin Durant for leaving? It's an interesting off-season, it feels like, for Oklahoma City.
Well, number one, I applaud him for staying, just like I don't discount KD for living. It's a business. And, the same thing, we talk about Boogie Cousins. Boogie Cousins wanted to stay in Sacramento, and at the All-Star game, next thing he knows, he's being traded, to the Pelicans. So, we can't get on KD for making a business decision and wanting to play somewhere else. We've got to hold each side accountable, management as well as players. But I applaud him for wanting to stay. I think it will be a big offseason for Sam Presti and OKC. Because it's a franchise, it's the only show in town, a loyal fan base, and you're right, they gave him the keys to the kingdom, the car, the country home, the vacation home. They gave him everything, and now they got to start to build around him. They got young talent. I love Steven Adams. They got Cantor, who's been very disappointing to me in this season. They traded for Victor Oladipo, who hasn't played up to expectations during the playoffs. But they've got to get some players around him.
Reggie will be he called the Clippers Jazz Game 4 last night with ISO Joe, and he'll get Game 5 Thunder Rockets coming up tomorrow night. Speaking of the Clippers here, are we starting to inch closer to the end of Lob City?
Well, it depends on what goes on the rest of this series. Look, let's start.
Well, Blake's done, though, for the rest.
Done.
Does he play for the Clippers again?
Series.
Does he play for the Clippers again?
This is how I look at it. Right now, the Clippers have the number one show in town over the Lakers, and it's never been that case. It's always been a Lakers town. But right now, until the Lakers get their footing and Magic gets some players in there, right now the number one draw, basketball-wise, is the Clippers. So if you're Mr. Ballmer, if you're Doc Rivers, we've got these three guys, and we've been successful during the regular season. I get playoffs, and the Clippers will only be judged by what they do in the playoffs from going forward from here on out. We've got the number one draw, and Blake is a part of that. But can these guys ever get to the finish line together and healthy? And so far, that hasn't been the case. If there's one person that's happy that all this is going down, it's Phil Jackson. It's Carmelo Anthony. Because now you've got trading options if you're Melo. You've got the Clippers and Blake straight up. I think that works for both teams. You're looking at Indiana because of the sweep. You've got Paul George in play now. You've got Miami in play. You've got Boston in play if you're Phil Jackson and Carmelo Anthony. So you've got trade options and things to think about if you're a Knicks fan. But for the Clippers, I hope they keep the band together because they've been so successful during the regular season. I would love to see them healthy, but that's always the question come playoff time.
Wait, you would trade Blake Griffin for Melo straight up?
No, a little bit more would have to go into it. The Knicks would win on that. But I don't know because Blake has not shown me anything during the playoffs because he's always been hurt or he gets hurt.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, the Knicks would still find a way to screw it up, but you would think if you got Blake Griffin and you got rid of Melo, that would be a plus for the Knicks.
But at the end of the day, remember, Carmelo has the ultimate trump card because no matter what they throw in there, he could always say, nah, I don't like it.
We're talking to Reggie Miller, NBA on TNT. Next up, he's got the Thunder and the Rockets tomorrow night. If Steve Kerr can't coach, how does that affect the Golden State Warriors?
It's a huge loss because we're talking about when you lose your head coach, it's great to have, associate head coach. And Mike Brown's been around this game a long time. He's coached some great superstars and LeBron and obviously Kobe. And, he understands, what it takes to win. But Steve Kerr, it's a lot like Popovich. You take Pop off that team, it's all – see, this is when coaching really matters is come playoff. In the NBA, in the college game, it's all about the coaches. The coaches – They swing, the pendulum. In the pro game, it's the guys during the regular season, but the coaches, that's what takes the great teams to the next level. And Steve Kerr is one of those coaches, and he knows how to push buttons. He understands how to change schemes. Not that Mike Brown doesn't, but Steve Kerr, he knows the temperature of his players better than anyone. I just think it would be a huge loss. I'm hoping and praying it's nothing serious and this is just a minor setback. But just looking at that press conference yesterday and hearing him answer questions, it doesn't look good now, does it?
No. And you got, it's leaking, spinal fluid leaking, and you got headaches and nausea.
It's never good. And for them to have exhausted just about every doctor in the country, and they still can't find out what the answer is or any solution. For Steve and his family, it has to be frustrating because we did a game maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, and we asked him that very question, how he's feeling. Hey, I'm great. We're doing yoga. I'm feeling much better. We got the team incorporated. The thing that's troubling to me, just by appearances and looking at Steve, is the weight loss. I don't like the weight loss. It's stressful enough being a player and or head coach in the league, but when you keep losing weight, it's never a great sign.
The Cavs sweeping the Pacers, but the media still found a way to knock the Cavaliers, that they only won those 4 games by a combined 16 points. What do you take from the Cavs sweeping the Indiana Pacers?
Well, number one, haters are going to hate. If you're the Cavs, we did what we were supposed to do because we get rest. And looking at their next round series between either Milwaukee or Toronto, they're locked in at 2-2. So they're going at least six games. So we've got at least a week off to rest up and practice and try to shore up, especially at the defensive end. To me, that's probably been if you look at the problems of the Cavs, it's been at the defensive end. I love what they're doing at the offensive end. They're sharing the basketball. They're scoring at will, but defensively and especially defensive rebounding, that's been the problem early on. But, people are going to hate, but again, at the end of the day, it was a sweep, and now they get rest. I will always take rest over rust because you got guys that have been banged up on that team. It's a chance for them to kind of, heal a little bit of those wounds and get ready for their next round.
Barkley said a couple of weeks ago that his top five is cemented, that LeBron can't get into his top five. I think Barkley's crazy. I think LeBron will end up probably the second or third best player in the history of the game. Can LeBron, is he allowed into the top five?
Yes. And you and I have had this conversation many of times, and I was hard to do it. I was hard-pressed to put him in there. But you have to. And I'm going to make an even stronger case. If the Cavs find a way to get to the finals, and if the Cavs find a way to beat Golden State or San Antonio, you can make a strong case. It may not be a good case, but you can make a strong case that he is knocking on the door of the GOAT.
Uh-oh.
I'm not saying he would ever pass him, but you can make a case for that. 6 straight times to the finals. Now, he hasn't won all of them, but it would be 7 straight times to the finals, and you would certainly assume if they won that he would be finals MVP. So that would be 4 finals MVP, correct?
But you can't be the greatest of all time if somebody's knocking on your door, can you?
I said you could make a case. I'm not saying it's a strong case, but you could make a case.
But then can you say he could be the second greatest player of all time?
Numbers-wise, he's going to end up, if you just look at the numbers alone, you would have to say that. I'm not saying he is, because I will always side with Black Jesus. Don't get me wrong. Gone to the finals 6 times, 6 finals MVP, period. And it's the killer instinct that MJ had. I think LeBron's more of a pleaser, and he wants to get everyone involved, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking at the numbers alone, you could make a case.
And if Mike didn't take that vacation to baseball, would he have gone 8 for 8?
Well, I'll put it to you like this. And we talked about this. Name all the guys that he denied, Hall of Famers, that he's denied championships. Myself,
Ewing,
Carl, John, Ewing, Chuck, Charles, all the guys that he denied championships. And you might want to throw in Hakeem Olajuwon if he's not batting a .197 and missing fly balls in the outfield. Hakeem Olajuwon may not have 2.
Man, he could have gone 8 for 8.
He could have gone 8 for 8. That's why
he'd never do that in a doubleheader.
Make a case, and it's not a strong case, but I will always side with that black cat, Black Jesus.
Did you ever get anything from him signed?
No. Yes, I did. I was going to say no, but I was like, hold up. Backtrack. Michael Jackson moonwalk. I did get a jersey signed.
You did?
Get a jersey signed. Yes.
I'm surprised that you did that.
It took everything in my fiber to ask the ball boy to go down there and get it. Yeah, it was for a charity thing.
Did he ask for one of yours?
Are you kidding me?
Wouldn't that have been great? Wouldn't that have been great if Mike says, "I'll do it if you give me one of your jerseys"?
You know what's funny? I wonder if Michael Jordan has anything signed from anyone. Like, would he ask Muhammad Ali back when Muhammad Ali was alive?
Yes.
If he would have asked Muhammad Ali for something signed.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of people.
But nobody in the NBA, though. It's not like he's going to say to Larry, "Can I get a jersey?" or, Magic. Certainly not Isaiah.
He may have asked Magic maybe for a jersey.
I don't know if Mike would hang up jerseys of other people.
Not necessarily to hang up.
Michael Jordan has an autographed Jesus picture. That's how good he is.
So we're saying Muhammad Ali would probably have been the only person at the time MJ would have asked for an autograph, sports autograph.
Yeah. Maybe Tiger.
No.
Because he's too much of a big brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jack Nicklaus? Maybe?
But then if Tiger found out about it, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, he certainly wasn't asking 31 of the Indiana Pacers for anything. I can guarantee you that. But thank you, MJ, and thank you for the charity.
Wait, but was there anybody who else asked for your jersey in the NBA? And I don't mean to embarrass you if nobody did.
I don't think anyone really was.
Oh no!
For much. Yeah, no one. No.
I have the Reg autographed jersey here.
That's right.
Proudly displayed.
Thank you. And I appreciate the Dan Nance, and I appreciate you guys.
But maybe that's the ultimate respect, that people just didn't like you, that they couldn't, like they were you're so competitive that they would have a hard time saying, hey, would you give it to me? Knowing that you might say no. You're such a competitor.
My business manager, Gail D'Agostino, she said, look, you have to get this jersey signed by MJ. You don't understand how hard it was for me to, I wasn't going to ask personally. I was like, there's no way I'm going to ask him. So I had to get the ball boy
Oh, no.
to go down there with the jersey and the shoes and be like, MJ, this is for Reggie, And this was right on the border. This is maybe pre-fight or right after. It was one of the, that big fight I had with him. It was right after that or right before that this happened. So it was very uncomfortable because we really weren't on talk. We were on talking terms maybe my first 2 years, and then just fist bumps and handshakes the rest of the way. Nice. But it was very uncomfortable.
Reg,
but I did it, and thank you, MJ. But it was a very uncomfortable ask.
Tomorrow night on TNT, Reg will do Game 5, Thunder Rockets. Safe travels. Great to visit with you, Reg. Talk to you soon.
Theodore, you are the best, and I love my Danettes. Let's do this.
Reggie Aloysius Miller III, NBA on TNT.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.